A few days ago I put out a video talking about what Battlefield 6 needs to do better in comparison to 2042 and BF5, and the main talking point about that was the post-launch content, and it's almost like DICE are listening to me, because today Battlefield just dropped some insane news about Season 1 and we're going to be taking a look at it. Season 1 looks to be launching on October the 28th, and it's going to carry us all the way until December and up until the Christmas holidays. So it looks like we're getting 2 new maps this season. We've got Blackwell Fields and Eastwood. The first one we're getting at the start of Season 1, October the 28th, that's the Blackwell Fields map. There you might recognise the oil rigs and whatnot. We saw a leaked video of this a few weeks ago from BF Labs, and it looked like it was in a pretty complete state then. And then the second map is Eastwood. That looks like it's going to be it says on the promotional image that one's going to be set in California. I wouldn't be surprised if this is when the Battle Royale launches, because we know that's going to be set in California as well. Starting October, it looks like we've got a new mode as well, Strikepoint. Now looking at Battlefield Bulletin's tweet, it looks like this mode is a small team tactical mode, 4v4, where a squad fights another squad across multiple rounds to capture a key objective, and there's only 1 life per round. So this could be a pretty interesting mode, especially if you're into that kind of competitive sort of side. It will be interesting to see how that develops. It's not really for me. I'm more of those bigger experiences, especially when it comes to Battlefield, but it's there for the people who want it. Also looks like we're getting some new vehicles and new weapons. Starting off with the vehicle, we've got the Traverser Mark II. This looks to be some kind of MRAP type vehicle, and according to Battlefield Bulletin it is classed as an APC, so perhaps it'll take a few more rocket shots to take down than a simple transport vehicle. But I do like the fact that they are adding vehicles. I'm hoping we're going to see a Little Bird and maybe some other marine based vehicles in future seasons as well, so it's very cool that that's getting added. And yeah, we've got 3 new weapons starting with Season 1. We've got the SOR 300SC. Now to me, I'm looking at the image, this looks like a SCAR based PDW. The fact that it says 300, I'm assuming that's 300 Blackout, but I don't know too much about guns, to be honest, but that's what it looks like. And we're also getting a new sniper rifle, which is really good, because I do know that there's only going to be 3 snipers in launch, obviously the one we had at the beta, and then there are 2 others, the SV98 and the M98B. I can't remember exactly what they're called in game. So we've got those ones, so a 4th one to add to those will be much needed. Finally, it also looks like we're getting what looks to be a Glock as a side-on, which is great to expand that variety as well. And it also looks like they're adding new attachments. It says rail cover and LPVO. Now LPVO is a scope, so yeah, it'll be really cool to see extra additional attachments, and I like that they're not just focusing on weapons. When you're using the same sort of sights over and over again, it can become a bit boring, so seeing that they're going to be adding to that as the game progresses is a really cool thought. So hopefully that chunk of content will tie us over until the next release, which is on November 18th. That's when we get the Eastwood map, and it looks like we've got a few new weapons and attachments there, as well as a new mode. Starting with the new mode, Sabotage is designed for 8v8 combat. Destroy as many sites as possible before the round time finishes. Each team has 1 round to go on offensive and defensive. The team who successfully detonates the most sites wins. So sounds like an interesting mode. 8v8, again, it's one of those sort of smaller modes. It looks like this one's only a limited time mode as opposed to Strikepoint, which doesn't specify if it's a limited time mode, so I'm going to assume it's a full-time thing. Yeah, it could be interesting for a round or 2, but it's not particularly my cup of tea. What do you guys think about that? Is that something you're interested in? And then, yeah, as mentioned, we've got that new map. It will be really cool to see essentially a whole new biome in a way, because obviously we've got a few American maps, but they're based in New York, so it will be interesting to see that sort of California vibe with the whole map, and I'm hoping it is interesting and it's a larger map. I'm not too sure how big these 2 maps are, but I'm hoping they are on the larger side of things. In November, they're also reintroducing battle pickups. You may remember these from Battlefield 4. There were certain things you could pick up on the ground, so like a really overpowered shotgun or sniper. It was just something to add to the gameplay variety and shook things up a little bit. I'm really excited to see that they're adding these back. It looks like this one might be some kind of, I don't know if it's like a minigun or a flamethrower, it's hard to tell, but that should be interesting nonetheless. It also looks like we're getting 2 new weapons. We've got the DB12, which looks to be the KSG shotgun, I think that is. Either way, it's definitely some kind of shotgun. And then the M357 trait, that's going to be some sort of Magnum 357 caliber. It also looks like we're getting a new attachment. I believe that's a grip. It's called the triangled grip. It's interesting that that's there, but hey ho, more content, I guess. Finally, on December the 9th, they're releasing the Winter Offensive part of the Season 1. This looks like it's going to be a snowy version of Empire State as the map. This is a limited time event map. It'll be interesting to see how that is. I wasn't a big fan of Empire State in the beta, but you know, maybe with a snowy theme it'll it'll persuade me more to play it. Also got a new limited time event called Ice Lock. According to Battlefield Bulletin, this is a new limited time event centered around a mechanic called Freeze, which is a gameplay modifier that is only active in specific experiences, the Ice Lock looms. Sounds interesting. Again, it's a limited time thing, so it could be cool for a round or two, but you know, it's not going to be anything permanent. However, we are getting an ice climbing axe as a melee weapon. That is pretty cool, reminds me of Modern Warfare 2. I don't think that's going to have any extra utility with it, but will be a cool melee weapon to use nonetheless. Yeah, it's great to see they're starting off with a bang with the seasonal content. I mean, that was one of the biggest question marks that I had going into the launch of Battlefield 6, just how this is going to be handled, and if this Season 1 preview is anything to go by, it looks like it's shaping up to be pretty good. I mean, by the end of the year we'll have 2 additional maps to add on to the 9 or so that are in the base game, so that'll be pretty good. And yeah, it's a really strong start to Battlefield 6. I'm very excited to see where the future content lies. I'm hoping we do get some kind of naval based update next year or so. Obviously there was news recently that EA's been acquired by some Saudi company, and the future of EA and the Battlefield franchise is a bit uncertain, but I think, you know, Battlefield 6 at least is probably relatively safe for the coming year. But obviously as things go on, and we'll see how this affects the franchise as a whole. But alas, so far Battlefield 6 is looking good, Season 1 is looking good. What are your thoughts about Season 1? Let me know down in the comments. If there's anything I missed, feel free to let me know. And yeah, have a good one. Cheers.